Hi, this video is about turning editing on in Moodle, essentially where to find the edit button and what you can do with it. I thought it'd only take a couple of minutes, but it is over 12 minutes long. The reason why is that there is a lot you can do once you've pressed the turn editing on button, ranging from being able to duplicate content, to amending topic titles, to moving around content and topics themselves, to adding topics. So there's a lot there, so hopefully this video will be useful and informative to you. So I'm just going to get on with it. Thank you.
So if you've got editing access on your module, then towards the top right hand side you'll see this cog icon here. Now if you press on this, then a drop down menu appears and you should see the second option, turn editing on. Now it's also worth pointing out that if you have a particular theme installed on your Moodle installation, then the turn editing on button may actually appear on the main Moodle site. But in this example it is by clicking on the cog icon and selecting turn editing on, which I'm going to do now. Now once you've selected that, you may have noticed a short message appear up the top which just says that you can drag and drop files onto different topics to upload them. More on that later. But you'll also notice a couple of different icons, a pencil and a kind of crosshair icon, and the word edit and add an activity or resource. So I'm just going to go through what each of these things actually mean and what you can do with them. So let's kick off with the pencil icon. The pencil icon allows you to edit the topic name. So if I just press on it here, and if I wanted to change module to site, press return, and then that will execute the change. I'm highlighting press return because I was clicking away and it wasn't saving my change and it was actually driving me insane. So just a little tip, press return on the keyboard to execute that change. Now you may notice on the further left hand side there's this crosshair icons. Now the one furthest to the left means you can actually move actual topics around on your Moodle site, and then you should see a crosshair for each individual piece of content you've uploaded onto your Moodle site. So for example, if I wanted to drag and drop activities in Moodle beneath resources in Moodle, I click on, hold down, and then I just start to drag and then snap it under, and then now that's moved. And it's the same can be applied for different content. Now there is another way to move content about. So if you've got a really long module with a lot of content that requires a lot of scrolling, you could find yourself going up and down whilst holding down on the mouse button or trackpad. But if you select the content you want to move by pressing on the crosshair icon, then this pop-up window appears, and here you can select where in the particular topic that piece of content goes. So that's like a quick way of doing it. So it's worth just checking that out if you have a module that has a lot of content. So just to close that, I'm just going to press the X button here. So moving towards the right hand side, you may notice there the word edit appears. Now the edit that appears on the furthest right is actually editing the topic stroke section content area. So if I look at resources on Moodle and press edit here, then we've got 4 options. We've got edit topic, remove highlight or highlight, hide topic, and delete topic. So just to show you an example of what you can do with each of these options, if I press edit topic, then I'm going into the topic settings or the section settings. So again, here I can edit the title if I wanted to, but I can also add a summary, which I've done. Now summary is good if it's short and snappy, just highlighting perhaps key materials that need to be covered. If you want to write something more comprehensive, I would suggest that you use a label resource, just because it is easy to move about rather than being stuck within a summary. So that's just something I would recommend. I'm not making any changes here, so I'm just going to press cancel. Now again, if I click on edit. In fact, I'm not going to go to resources and Moodle edit. I'm going to go to activities and Moodle edit. So if I click on here, then we see the highlight option. Now I'm going to press this here, and if you look on the left hand side, there's a thin blue line that should now jump to activities in Moodle when I press it, which I've done here. So that real thin blue line is to indicate that this topic is highlighted, and that's a good visual cue to highlight perhaps that is the current week which students should be studying on and going through the activities and resources available. So that is quite useful if you wanted to do a visual cue, so a student can log in and see, oh okay, this week we're on activities in Moodle, and you can just remove that by pressing edit and then selecting remove highlight. Okay, if we click on edit again on the far right hand side, and we've got hide topic. Now hide topic's pretty straightforward. It will hide the topic, which I've done now. It's quite useful that it tells you that it's hidden from students, which is good to know. Also the content is greyed out. It's worth pointing out, if you hide a topic, it will also hide the content within that topic. And then just to make the topic visible, press edit again and then press show topic. And then finally, if we do edit, we've got delete topic. Now this will delete the topic, but you can bring it back if you make use of the recycle bin. I won't delete this topic right now, but it's pretty straightforward. You get a confirmation page, and then if you do press OK, it will be deleted. It's worth pointing out, if I scroll towards the bottom of my Moodle site, that if I actually wanted to add more topics or more sections, I can do, and I just press the add topics link here, or button. So if I just do that, then I've got the option to select the number of sections I want to add. I'm just going to add another one, just press add topic, and then you notice now I've added topic 6 by default, and I can use that pencil icon to change the title if I wanted to. Right, so I'm just going to go back up towards the top, and it's worth pointing out as well that if you do have content on your Moodle site already, then an edit option will appear when you've got turn editing on. So if we're looking at this top 5 tips PDF, if I press edit, now I've got 6 different options. So there's quite a lot of options when you turn editing on. This edit settings is specific to the type of activity and resource that's been uploaded. So if I just press edit settings here, I've used the file resource to upload the PDF, and then that takes me into the settings of this resource. So again, I can add a title or amend a title, and then I can also amend the PDF or add more to the PDF. Now depending what activity and resource you've got uploaded, you will have different options here, and this is where you can make amends or tweak some things, so it's worth pointing that out. I'm not going to make any changes here, it's just to highlight this option. So I'm just going to press cancel, and if I just come back to edit and then move right, so move right is some form of indentation. Now I think that's quite good in giving visual cues to the student that some content is linked. So in this example here, I've actually indented the Moodle activities quiz, and the idea is that's to give a cue to the student that if they've gone through the top 5 tips, then this quiz is linked to the top 5 tips visually. So if I click on edit for the activity quiz, you'll notice now I've got an option to move left, and that will move the quiz left, like I've just done there. And then I can keep going back until it's level, but I find that it's quite good in terms of formatting and visual cue, that if content's linked, to indent them. Okay, so if I just click on edit again, we've got a hide option. That's similar to what I showed you with the topic. You just hide the content. If I just select this here, it tells me that it's hidden from student. Again, if I want to make it visible, I just press edit and then press show, and then that's available. You can also duplicate content, which is quite useful. So here you just press edit and then you select duplicate, which I'll do now, and it's duplicated that PDF for me. So that's really useful. I'm just going to delete that by pressing edit and then selecting the last option, delete. And then it's confirming if I want to keep it, or sorry, if I want to delete it. Yes, I do. Boom, gone. Okay, so if I just press edit, and we've got assign roles. So assign roles is can be quite useful for assigning a particular role to an activity. A forum springs to mind here, so if you want students to actually be a moderator on a forum, you can give them, say, a teacher role for that just particular activity. So it's just worth pointing that out. And then, as I demonstrated a moment ago, you've got edit, and then you've got delete, and then that will delete the activity or resource. Okay, you may have noticed within each of the topics section areas at the bottom there's an add an activity or resource. So this is the button that will enable you to add any of the activities and resources. So if I'm just to press it here, and here it brings up a pop-up and it will list all the activities and resources available on your Moodle installation. Now if you wanted to add something, all you need to do is check on the particular activity or resource and then just press add. Then you'll go into the settings of that particular activity and then you can make those changes. Now just as a demo, I will just type in some content, forum, just to show you how to add that in. So I'm going to keep everything as default. I'm going to press save and return to course because I want to go back to the main Moodle site. But if I wanted to go into the forum itself to see what it looked like, I would press save and display. But here I go, save and return to course, and you can see here there is the introduction forum that I've created. Okay, so that is just a general overview of the different things that you can do in Moodle when you turn editing on. So there's quite a lot to do there, and hopefully this overview gives you a better understanding now of what you can do when you turn editing on and you want to amend your Moodle site. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Sorry.
So I mentioned earlier that when you turn editing on, the little message pops up saying that you can drag and drop files to upload them into topics, and this process is really quite simple. So to just demonstrate this, if I just drag the browser down, and what I'll do is click on this PDF here and then just drag it onto the Moodle site, and you can see here there's an add files here message that appears. All I need to do then is just let go and the file is uploaded onto the Moodle site. So that's a really quick and easy way to add files onto your Moodle site.